Okay, so our next talk is by Peter Joseph Torres, who's going to be talking about, if I may, shall we address pain or should we focus on addiction? A talk about the language of opioid policies.
Back in the 1980s, the major problem in the United States was the lack of strong pain medication. Opioids were the solution to that problem. Unfortunately, the solution has ended up becoming the problem this time. My study is about a key component of the crisis that we often ignore: language. I look at medical interactions because language is what patients use to describe their pain. I look at the media because language is what pharmaceutical companies use to advertise their opioids. But today I'll be focusing on policies because language is what policymakers use to address the opioid crisis. So as linguists, we are aware that the way we present information could affect the decisions other people make. This is especially important in policies, which, by the way, could be very confusing because policymakers are so obsessed at using modal verbs. Modal verbs are words like can, may, and should that allows us to express ability, permission, and obligation. Yes, policymakers love modals the same way sharks love blood. So I thought, why not use them to develop a framework that could streamline policy analysis? So hear me out. For example, we have an institute policy that says, Georgia may bring the cowbell and Raul should bring the cowbell. On the surface, we know that Georgia has a permission and Raul has an obligation. But what really happens here is that both Georgia and Raul will have to process this information before they can make a decision. Now, as you can see, Raul doesn't have as much of a choice, but he likes cowbells, so whatever. So, although oversimplified, these examples show that paying attention to modals could provide us with three crucial information that will be very useful in analyzing policies. First, which policies are easy to reinterpret? Second, who are the recipient of these stricter policies? In this case, that's Raul, unfortunately. And also, lastly, what are the policymakers focusing on? In this case, it's ringing the cowbell. So, using this modal analysis framework, I found that California, a state with low opioid overdose rates, have changed the focus of their policies across time. And just to show you how legit California policies are, these are how their opioid policies have become. They say no to jail, yes to rehab. Don't blame the doctors, go after the friendly neighborhood heroin dealer. Analyzing modals allow us to map how states are approaching the opioid crisis, which could be very useful in analyzing future policies and as a template for future public policies. And so, as linguists, our role is to be able to communicate and find ways to how to use the most mundane words in the best way possible. And that's where I end my talk. Thank you very much.